Well, welcome back. Eric Arnold here on the day after Christmas. It's Saturday morning, the middle of the night, I guess. Saturday, what around 1 a.m. Get you some action here for Saturday. You know, as half the country's locked down, so you're forced to sit in your house and watch sporting events with no fans. So I'm going to try to give you some action at least. Something to watch. Well, you have to forgive me if my nose runs. Here during this video, we had a 40-degree swing in temperature between New Year's Eve and tonight. So it's probably around 20. Cold in the barn. But we had a pretty good day today. We got some nice presents and actually did see our family for a little bit. Those that of which my family wants to see us, let's put it that way. So we saw those people. That was good. And actually had a winning day. So, I'm excited about that. So let's go ahead here. Recap what happened on Christmas. We opened up with a loser there, Michigan State. I told you that Tom Izzo has never lost in Lansing to Wisconsin. That's not true. My database only goes back until like 2006. And after I said it, I thought, well, wait a minute. This Izzo guy's been there longer than that. That was in there. Not that it would have mattered, but I don't know. Michigan State, I watched a good portion of that game, and they just look bereft of NBA talent this year. They just they don't have those thumpers inside. I knew I was in trouble when, in the guts of the game with maybe 6 minutes to go, all of a sudden, some dude I haven't seen all game is out there. It's about that tall, number 3. He's frantically running around, waving his arms, but he's that tall, So Wisconsin immediately backed him down into the basket and scored right over top of him, and it was over shortly thereafter. So I thought, well, that's bad. I guess he ended up out there because of foul trouble. Anyway, that was now. I didn't get to see any of that game. Apparently, Maryland played strong in the second half to get the W. Lose outright, cover the spread, all we care about. So that was good. I didn't get to see any of that game. I wanted to, but low-scoring affair, I guess. I take it back. I think, one series of plays in the fourth quarter. Buffalo threw the ball 3 straight times. I thought, well, that's probably why this game's close, is because Buffalo's not running the ball. But they managed to get the late touchdown, held Marshall out of the end zone. Buffalo gets the cover. Buffalo gets the Camellia Bowl trophy, whatever that is. So that made us 2-1 for today. Vikings just not showing up at all. Alvin Kamara, I think that's his name. 6 touchdowns. I mean, I guess and they were all rushing touchdowns. So I guess that equals some guy, Ernie Nevers. I guess he's in the Hall of Fame. Apparently he did that. Well, he did that before my father was born, which is hard to believe. In November of 1929, Ernie Nevers rushed for 6 touchdowns. Now Alvin Kamara has done it. Gale Sayers scored 6 touchdowns, but they weren't all rushing. They had, I think, a couple kick returns in there. So the Vikings don't show up. They give up 50 points. I think we need to be kind of aware of that a little bit. This may be more of a quit year here in these last 2 weeks than a normal year. In other words, it's probably pretty draining for these professional players to put up with all these ridiculous COVID rules for months and months and months. And now here you're at the end of the road and your season's over and you just want to get the hell out of Dodge and go do what you want to do without, like the rest of America, we're all violating these rules. I mean, hell, I read that, what's her name? The female Fauci, Bert, was that her name? She went to a family get together. We can't go to Thanksgiving together, but she did. And then she lied and called it something else. Said her parents were lonely. Well, no goddamn shit. Everybody's parents and old grandparents are lonely. You're not the only one, honey. You're just the hypocrite that's telling us all that we can't do it, and then you go and do it. So, low scores for her. And then lastly, this has got to be one of the games of the year. I don't know if anyone other than me watched this game, but this was the one that made it a winning night for us. The bully. Do people say that anymore? When it comes down to the tie-breaking game, that's what my grandparents used to call it. The bully. We'll play the bully. And when we played pinochle, we wouldn't play basketball. My grandparents were in their 70s when I could play basketball, so I guess it would have been a pretty good game. I was short and they were old. But we played pinochle instead. So this was the bully, and Minnesota gets it done. Beats Iowa, who's one of the best teams in the country. Great game. Goes to overtime. Minnesota wins it in overtime. Minnesota came from way back in regulation to tie it. And then in overtime, some guy, Brandon Johnson, if you're familiar with Ken Pomeroy's site, he lists all the players on each team, and then he has in bold who the contributors are, who the main guys are. Maybe that might go 6 deep or so. Well, Brandon Johnson was not one of these guys in bold print. He's in like small print. Oh yeah, and then these are the other guys. Well, he went off in overtime, hit 4 threes. He scored Minnesota's first 12 points in overtime. Minnesota goes home with the winner. Brandon Johnson, some guy, just a guy, and he had the game of his life. There was another guy, Austin Carr, I believe was his name. He had a real big night for Minnesota. It was a great game. Were the fans there? I mean, that would have been one that would run right on to ESPN Instant Classics, really. So good night for us. We're happy. Updated our little scoreboard there. I'm like trying to keep our head above water in college basketball. That's the one we're trying to really, focus on right now. So let's get you some more action here. More action. I did want to say one thing. I had a good day, except, I was up into the wee hours of the middle of the night last night this is the second time in a row, YouTube. I don't know what's going on, guys, but you guys are taking forever to upload these videos, and I don't know why. There's no reason for it. I've covered all the bases. There's no reason for this, and it's getting annoying. So do your goddamn job. Upload my videos in a time span faster than 6 hours. You think you could do that? All right. I guess we'll find out in a few minutes. What do we got here? I apologize. It's cold. I don't think the markers mark as well in 20-degree temperatures. We did the best we could. We got 3 NFL games tomorrow. So I got them all up here, so let's have them. The Buccaneers, they're at Detroit. They're 9.5-point favorites. There was a moment here where we liked Detroit. I thought Detroit was a live dog. And now that kind of went away. The guy that they were playing for, I thought that they were excited because Matt Patricia wasn't there anymore. Well, now that guy's out. He's in the COVID holding area or wherever he is. So now they got some other, they're down to like, the ball boy is coaching the team, or the injured quarterback, I guess. Isn't that who coaches the team in oh, what the hell's that bad movie with John Voight? Varsity Blues, where they kicked John Voight off the team. They kicked Matt Patricia off the team, and now the injured quarterback, he coaches the team. But I don't know who's coaching the team for the Lions. But I don't think it helps the Lions. They have all sorts of injuries. I don't know who's going to quarterback. Is it going to be Matt Stafford? Is it going to be Chase Daniel? Is it going to be some other guy? Who knows? I think you just got to go ahead and lay the wood here and take the Bucs. Again, going back to what happened here in this game, if the Bucs, if the Lions are not interested, Tom Brady could score some points in a hurry here, and that, if this ends up like a college score like this one did, 9.5 points really isn't all that many points. So we think that's what's going to happen here. We think this is going to be a high-scoring affair. Little defense, or at least little defense played by the Lions. So we're going to lay the points there and take the Tom Brady and the Buccaneers. All right, we're jumping around here again. This is kind of in chronological order. We only have one college basketball game for tomorrow. As many of our subscribers are Ohio State alum, just like I am. We're going to pick the Ohio State Northwestern game up at Evanston. Northwestern looks like they have a pretty good team this year. They've beaten Michigan State. They've beaten Indiana. And now here they are hosting Ohio State, and they're 3.5 point underdogs at home. Ohio State, they've had a pretty good start. They lost on the road to Purdue. But other than that, they've beaten UCLA. They just had a really nice win over Rutgers. And Rutgers is good this year. They're really good. If you're saying, oh, you beat Rutgers, Rutgers. Rutgers is really good this year. The whole Big Ten is really good this year. I mean, just watching that Minnesota game, Minnesota's good. I mean, winning that game will probably put Minnesota into the tournament. But at any rate, so, Ohio State, a 3.5 point favorite on the road at Evanston. I'm going to go ahead and say Ohio State. I think they have an edge in coaching. I'm not a Chris Collins fan. I think Holtman for Ohio State is clearly a better coach. So we're going to go ahead and say Ohio State's going to do enough. They're going to play enough defense. They really turned it on in the second half against Rutgers, and that's what I'm kind of hoping, is that they just carry that forward and just play a big, solid, hard 40 minutes, and that should be enough. That should be enough to cover the spread against Northwestern. So 1 star there. All right, back in the National Football League, the Cardinals hosting the Niners, I guess. I mean, both teams are playing on the same field. It's like the Jets and the Giants used to be. So the Arizona 49ers versus the Arizona Cardinals. The Arizona Cardinals are 5-point favorites. So many injuries on the fading out of it Niners. I think we have to take the Cardinals here. Yeah, there are a lot of factors that line up on the side of the ledger for the 49ers, but so many injuries, and the season's over for those guys. They're 5-9. It's over. So the Cardinals need to put a win on the board, and I think they're going to play hard and make sure they get this W here tomorrow to assure themselves, or at least almost assure themselves, a playoff spot. So we'll lay the 5 points, take the Cardinals. The Cure Auto Bowl, I believe, is that what we're calling this? We got some off-the-wall bowls here Saturday, no Power 5 teams. I hate the way they do these bowl games. I would love to see either one of these teams, Liberty or Coastal Carolina, going up against the Power 5 team. You know, how much fun would it be to watch Coastal Carolina play Penn State or Liberty playing USC? I think that would be exciting. But of course, you know, college football never want to give us those matchups. So of course they make them play each other. So it's impossible to, you know, ever gauge how these stack up against the Power 5 teams, because the Power 5 will never play these kind of teams. So Coastal's undefeated. They're undefeated and the number 12 team in the country. They could probably beat Liberty and drop 3 spots in the polls probably. Finish the season undefeated and be out of the top 25. But no, I don't think that's going to happen. I think what's going to happen is Liberty is going to win this game. They're catching 7 points. I think Liberty has an advantage at coach. Hugh Freeze has been there. He's done that as far as these bowl games go. He's got a decent bowl record when he coached with Ole Miss. He won his bowl game last year with Liberty. I just think he's got a lot more experience when it comes to this sort of thing than Chadwell with Coastal Carolina. There's a weather edge, believe it or not. This game's in Orlando, so you're saying, what weather? It's cold down there. It's cold down there. I mean, I saw a headline that the temperatures are going to be in the 40s down in Florida this weekend, and to beware of falling iguanas. I don't know what that means, honestly. I really don't. I lived down there for about 3 years back in the glory days, and I never saw an iguana, and I certainly never saw an iguana fall. So I don't know what they're talking about, but I guess maybe it's like with the pythons now, maybe the iguanas have invaded too. So there are all kind of iguanas everywhere, but they can't handle the cold, so they're going to fall. Just like Coastal Carolina, who's from Myrtle Beach. Those are Sunshine Boys. Liberty, they're from up there in the Virginia mountains. They're used to the cold. So for all these reasons, we like Liberty. You know, I think Liberty, they've got some really nice wins under their belt. Beat Virginia Tech, beat Syracuse, almost beat North Carolina State. And all the jabroni opponents they played, they blew them out. So definitely like Liberty there. Take the 7 points, go to the bank. That's our top play, 3 stars on that. And then lastly, I forgot to circle this one. Late night NFL action Saturday night. You got the Dolphins, who've been very, very, very good to us. They are at Las Vegas against the unpredictable Raiders. The Dolphins need this game. The Dolphins have, I would argue, better quarterback, better coach. They're motivated. They don't have as many injuries. They've got, they damn near got everything going for them here in this game. Therefore, of course, we're going to take the Raiders because that is our Raider rule. Whatever I would do for the other 30 or 29 teams in the NFL. How many teams are there in the NFL? I guess there's 32. Whatever I would do for the other 31 teams in the NFL, I'll just do the opposite. I'm going to do the opposite with the Raiders. It worked last week. Let's see if it works again. The Raiders are catching 3 at home. I think there is a small bias for home dogs that are half decent. Let's see what happens. The unpredictable Raiders have no reason whatsoever to play well Saturday night. Therefore, I think they will play well. That's the thinking. So what do we got here? We got the Buccaneers, Ohio State basketball, the Arizona Cardinals, Liberty Flames, that's their top play, and then the Las Vegas Raiders late night. All right, so there you have it. The rest of the NFL, that'll come up sometime, probably tomorrow, sometime. We'll get there. We'll get it done. 4 of them are already done. So hopefully the slate won't be so overwhelming and I'll be able to get to it and then give you a handful more picks. Good, great, thanks. Appreciate anyone that's watching the video. you know, we're bleeding subscribers, which of course is not surprising to me because, you know, most of my subscribers want to hear me pump up Donald Trump and bash the Democrats. And, you know, that's not my original job here. So, you know, no hard feelings for those people that are unsubscribing. No hard feelings. But we are trying to, you know, fill in with a few hardcore, crazy, handicapping people that want to hear and talk sports. So we're trying to get a handful of those in. That would be good. So hit the like button. If you do that, that makes me feel good. And we'll talk again. Merry one day after Christmas to everybody. And thanks. From me to you, good sports, good night.